I was ready to do a big video about the history of chewing gum, and I thought I had a pretty good idea about how it came about. My guess was that after World War II, someone had a big stash of gum-like stuff kicking around, and after they'd finished making things that go bang out of it, they found their engineers nicking a bit so that they could chew it. Someone thought, oh, someone would pay for that. They added stuff to soften it up a bit, stuff to make it taste nice, and bang, that's chewing gum. But boy howdy was I wrong, so here's my challenge to you. When do you think chewing gum was invented? When did it come around? Comment your answer below and we'll see if you're right at the end. So we all know what chewing gum is, right, from experience. It's any soft thing that you can chew but it doesn't fall apart. For example, if you chew on an apple, then it will just fall apart into many little bits of stuff because that's what chewing is for. Your teeth grind up food into small particles and then that mush goes down into your stomach and it extracts all the nutrients and stuff. But when you chew gum, it doesn't fall apart, so what's the difference? The difference is that gum is kind of rubbery, and that rubberiness comes from many different sources. It could be resin, it could be a polymer, it could be wax. Most modern chewing gum is made of butyl rubber, which starts its life as crude oil, which is then processed into a substance that contains these long, stretchy chains called an elastomer. But that's kind of hard and flavorless, so wax is added to make it softer. Butyl rubber is also found in loads of other places like footballs and basketballs, window seals, gas masks, and the rubber stoppers that they put in test tubes in labs, and also the inner lining of tubeless tires because it does not let high pressure gas pass. So the next time you're chewing gum, just remember it shares an ingredient with footballs and tires, although maybe don't because that might be an uncomfortable thought. But I'll tell you who it didn't bother, people in the Neolithic period over 5,000 years ago, because a piece of birch bark tar was discovered that still has tooth marks in it, so somebody chewed it, and a research team was able to sequence the DNA found inside of it, and they found the DNA of the person who chewed it, as well as some of the viruses that may have been exposed to, and also the last meal that they had, all encased in this one bit of tar. The researchers determined that she was female from her DNA and named her Lola. The tar was found in southern Denmark, so she probably lived there, and radiocarbon dating puts the sample at about 3600 BCE, so it's about 5700 years ago. Based on her DNA, she probably had dark skin, dark brown hair, and blue eyes. But some of the other DNA that was also identified in the sample was from mallard, duck. So she had probably eaten duck recently for a meal, and hopefully that duck would have given her the strength to overcome some of the bacterial strains that were also found in the sample. For example, Streptococcus pneumoniae, which is a major human pathogen that is responsible for the majority of community-acquired pneumonia. She also had traces of the Epstein-Barr virus, which is what causes glandular fever. But why was a lump of birch bark tar able to tell us so much about someone who lived so many thousands of years ago? Tar is an amazing preservative because it repels water and oxygen and resists microbes. Tar is rich in really long chain non-polar molecules which can't form hydrogen bonds with water and so repel it, so water will just bead and wipe away. It also has antimicrobial properties due to having high amounts of phenolic compounds which damage microbial cell walls and proteins and make it hard for microbes to survive. And the tar is a natural thermoplastic. Its dense, sticky structure means that it slows the movement of gases like oxygen, which would oxidize and damage the samples within. There are many different types of tar, but many of them are good at preservation in a similar way. If you've ever been to La Brea tar pits in California, they have tons of recreated skeletons that they've hauled out of the tar pit that have been preserved by being cut off from oxygen and other atmospheric stuff that might have disturbed or degraded them. So many thousands of years ago, whilst this woman, Lola, was chewing the chewing gum, she was effectively folding into it many samples of her own DNA and the DNA of things that she had eaten or been exposed to, and it was all locked into tiny pockets and protected from water and insulated from oxygen in the same way that La Brea tar pits works, and the research team could then extract and sequence all that DNA. But that's not the only type of ancient chewing gum. Ancient Greece had something called mastic, which is a resin produced by cutting a zigzag pattern into the mastic tree and then harvesting and washing the globs of resin that come out of it, and those are called tears. And this practice has been going on for at least 2,500 years. In the ancient Maya civilization, about 4,000 years ago, they had chicle, a latex which is extracted from the sapodilla tree. Again, slices are made in the tree and then they collect the gum that runs out and then boil it until it's thick. Chicle is what gives chiclets their name, although chiclets don't actually contain chicle, they just took the name, I don't know why. Indigenous peoples of the Arctic Circle chew muktuk, which is the outer layer of body fat of whales, sea lions, penguins, manatees, and polar bears. It's often chewed for hours, although in the modern era it can be contaminated by things like cadmium from industrial processes like mining. Native Americans would chew the sap or pitch of the sugar pine, but not for too long and probably not too much, because it has laxative properties. In Southeast Asia, the seed of the areca palm has been chewed since at least 2600 BCE, nearly 5,000 years ago, as part of betel quid, a mix of the areca palm seed, slaked lime, and betel leaves. Unfortunately, it's dangerous to the human body. Like all of it, it's a carcinogen and it can damage the heart, brain, lungs, and gastrointestinal tract. So I guess I kind of understand why I was so wrong about how old chewing gum is, because chewing gum is a product, it's an object that you can buy if you want, but it's derived from an ancient practice of just chewing things that are fun to chew. But the real question is, if you swallow it, will it stay inside your body for 7 years? Yeah, we've probably all heard that one before, but is it a real thing? After all, a lot of gum bases are extremely resilient, being hydrophobic, antimicrobial, that kind of thing. So if you swallow a piece of gum, it will go down into your stomach, where your stomach acid and enzymes will have at it and try and dismantle it and extract any nutrition. If they can't handle it, then it will move to your large intestine, where various bacteria will try and deal with it. And if they can't handle it, then it will go the same path as all of your other solid waste, and you'll pass it in about 24 to 48 hours. It's not nice, but I'd rather know than not. So no, chewing gum won't stay in your stomach for 7 years if you swallow it. But honestly, even if it did, 7 years is nothing to the vast, deep, complicated history of chewing gum, which I did not at all expect when I started researching this video. It's mostly a behavior, a choice of things to do. It's something that we do to pass the time, and our species has had a long time to chew on anything that we can get our hands on. So how old is chewing gum? Probably as old as our species, but did you get it right? Scroll down to the comments to see how many people guessed that right, and are you one of them? But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.